So next, guys, it's the women's 6-tag match. I want to see Trish, but I could care less about this match, to be honest. I've said it, in the past. I'm not looking forward to this match. And I also think it's weird that they just won the tag titles, Becky and Lita, and, the fact that they're not even defended at the pay-per-view kind of shows how important the tag team titles are. They're just not. Just a stupid thing that they did that they shouldn't have done. Even the promo video was kind of blah, to be honest. I didn't really care for that. It was the only promo video on the show that I didn't think was really set up very well. But anyway, boy, they sure do like to remind us that Becky is the man, don't they? I mean, honestly, it's so dumb considering, they talk about the women's revolution and all this stuff all the time, and their main girl calls herself the man. So, I don't get that at all. And it's just kind of old at this point. Anyway, Damage Control comes out first. Bayley is, just so freaking cringe. She comes out wearing this thing like something Miz would wear. It's like half of a suit and half of this like weird, futuristic getup. It just looked freaking awful. I just can't ever get behind Bayley. I would rather her go back to her old gimmick and leave this crap behind because it's awful. Then they show a video promoting Lita, Trish, and Becky. It's like a comic book style type promo. And again, they're pushing the whole man narrative thing. I mean, just give it a break already, all right? It's over. Let's move on. Lita comes out. She gets a nice pop. Trish comes out. She also gets a freaking nice pop. They do this thing where it's like a black and white kind of screen because they're doing the whole comic book kind of theme. And it's got like fake rain falling down, like CGI or whatever. I don't know. It's just really weird. Trish comes out, looks freaking amazing. My God, best attire of the whole freaking weekend. I can definitely say that. Just great. Becky, again, always, talks about being the top performer. But again, she comes out and she barely got a response. I mean, I don't know. I just think her popularity has definitely died down. Ever since she had that little incident before Survivor Series where she got the bloody nose and, she got busted open and I don't know. It just seems like after that whole thing went through and she won her match at WrestleMania with Ronda and Charlotte, is like, I don't know, her popularity's kind of died down. I think turning her heel really hurt her a lot too, to be honest. But anyway, she gets in the ring, she poses with Lita and Trish, and when they do that, I mean, the freaking crowd is dead. There's like no response whatsoever, which it's kind of sad because it's WrestleMania. You would expect the crowd to be really into this thing, but anyway, all the girls start brawling, and the bell hasn't even rung yet. Becky with a baseball slide hits Dakota Kai. Dakota just goes flying over the freaking announcer's table. Dakota's like, all right, well, if I'm going to be the one that gets drop kicked, then I'm going to be the one that starts this match. So she gets in the ring with Becky, and the bell rings. Dakota hit this really nice scorpion kick, which I've only seen a couple of times. That was pretty cool. She tags in Bayley, who gets in some kicks, and then Io gets tagged in, and she gets in some kicks of her own. So they're just like triple teaming Becky at this point. Io, she gets some more kicks in, and then she gets a 2 count. Becky gets Io up on the apron, and then Io with the springboard drop kick, and she gets another 2 count. And again, freaking Io Sky, like her flips, her kicks, and her drop kicks, just everything that she does is pretty good. I really want to see her as a singles competitor and see what she can do. I think Io Sky and Asuka would be a good match. The crowd again, even though we're seeing all these spots, just freaking dead. This should have been like the opening match, maybe a pre-show match, but right here, putting it right after Rollins and the Logan Paul match, just kind of the big mistake because I think the crowd they were so hot for that match and they just kind of simmered down for this match. So maybe they should have put this one on first, but what are you going to do? Dakota gets in, she hits a corner kick, and she gets a 2 count. Bayley is in now, and she's mocking Lita. I did like that. She picks up Becky, and Becky actually gets her in a jawbreaker, though. Becky needing that hot tag, she keeps trying to get it, and then Dakota comes in, and she actually stops her. So Dakota and Io are double teaming Becky. They went for a double clothesline, and I mean, to be honest with you guys, Becky's just getting destroyed. I mean, I really thought she was going to be the one that gets the hot tag, but she's actually the one that needs the hot tag to somebody else. So anyway, Becky actually would nail the double clothesline, and she tries to tag in Lita. And I think Trish was up on the apron and Bayley was on the outside. Bayley went over to Trish and just pulled her off the apron. So when she went to go make the tag, Trish was nowhere to be seen. And I think Lita was over on the other side, trying to get the tag. And Becky's like, all right, well, I'll just tag in Lita. So Lita gets the freaking hot tag and she just starts clearing house. Lita gets a freaking head scissors takedown on Io Sky, and to be honest with you guys, this is the second time I've seen Lita wrestle, and it just looks like she's kind of rusty. She went for the head scissors takedown and was like, Io wasn't sure if she was supposed to roll yet or what was going on. Like maybe Lita didn't capture the legs around her head perfectly, or I don't know what happened, but it just looks like Lita's a little bit off when she does some of her moves. Anyway, Lita hits a back elbow, and then she hit a vertigo. Similar to LA Knight's finisher, where you kind of drop them on the head. And then she gets a 2 count. Lita drops Sky, and then she goes to the middle rope. Dakota would end up kicking her in the back, and Lita falls down. So Io would get a 2 count here. And Trish is waiting for that hot tag. She finally gets up on the apron, and she's ready to go. Damage Control hits a triple super kick, and the first thought I had was the freaking Elite from AEW, right? Because they always do the triple super kick. But even the way they did it, they did the whole countdown thing, and then they do the super kick. But anyway, they start dominating Lita. Lita's just getting taken out. So first it was Becky, now it's Lita. A lot of in and out tags, taking turns just beating up Lita. Again, crowd is freaking dead. I'm just really surprised. I mean, even as far as we are into this match, the crowd's still not into it. Bayley and Io, they go for a double suplex on Lita, who actually reversed it and nailed a double DDT, which was kind of nice. Trish would end up getting the hot tag, and she starts just punching everybody out. She gets Dakota Kai, she knocks her out. She even hit a loose Thez press on freaking Dakota Kai, which was nice. Kind of reminded me of some Stone Cold. Trish with some takedowns on Dakota and Io, and then a neck breaker on Dakota Kai, and she would get a 2 count. And Trish doesn't look rusty at all. She actually looked pretty good here. Trish gets Dakota over to the corner. Dakota's up on the rope. Trish would end up getting thrown by Lita, and then Becky and Dakota start going at it or whatever. She gets Dakota by the ankles, and she just tosses her onto Bayley and Io Sky. So Trish with a spine buster on Dakota Kai, and then she would get a 2 count. Trish tags in Lita, and she hits the Poetry in Motion, some Hardy Boys stuff, and she gets a 2 count. So Becky gets the tag in now, and she puts Dakota Kai in the Disarm Her. And, she's got it in for a while. Dakota Kai is actually the one taking the beating now. I mean, she's been getting triple teamed by Lita, Trish, and Becky. And I think pretty much everyone's hit a pretty big spot on Dakota Kai at this point. Bayley would end up coming in. She breaks up the Disarmer on Becky Lynch, and she gets the tag from Kai. I think she pulled her over to her corner, and she gets the tag. Bayley with a running clothesline on Becky's back, hits the Rose Plant, and then goes for the pin. But Lita, last second, comes in, breaks it up right before the 3 count. So now Dakota takes Lita out with a kick in the corner. Io's in the ring, and Trish comes in and hits the Stratus faction. Haven't seen that in a while. Becky and Bayley fall to the outside. Now all the girls are on the outside, and this is Io's spot, right? She goes up to the freaking top. She actually recovered pretty quickly because she just took a Stratus faction from Trish Stratus, so I was surprised to see Io get up that quick. And again, that's something I don't like about wrestling today, is that it just seems like people don't know how to sell very well, or they're trying to push the match so quickly that they get up from a finisher just too quickly. I just don't see why they do that, but just slow it down a little bit. Just kind of surprised to see her get up that quick. But anyway, she gets up to the top. She hits a freaking diving moonsault. Just beautiful. And she just knocks everybody out below. The crowd, again, even though freaking she just hit that big spot, the crowd just doesn't care. It's I don't know. I don't know what these women can do to even get the crowd into it at this point. All the girls get back into the ring. We get a massive freaking brawl again. Lita with a twist of fate on Io Sky. Trish Stratus with a chick kick on Dakota Kai. So now both those girls are out. Lita's all right, well, put them together. I'm going to go up to the top rope. She hits a freaking moonsault, and she hits both Dakota Kai and Io Sky. So now they're just out. In the other corner on the opposite side of the ring, we have Becky Lynch and Bayley. They're up on the top rope, and Lita and Trish are just kind of watching what's happening. I was kind of surprised they're not helping Becky, but I guess they don't need to, right? Bailey goes for a Bailey to Bailey off the freaking top, but Becky actually reversed it, and she hits the manhandled off the top rope, and she gets the pinfall victory here. So, I mean, no surprise there. We kind of knew who was going to win this match, just the way it was built. More surprised with the crowd response more than anything. I mean, it's WrestleMania. It just goes to show that most people just don't care about women's wrestling as much as they think. And again, I get it, the whole equality thing, but they shove it down our throats so much, and then they put them in these kind of matches just to kind of like do that. Like, oh, look, see, we can be equal and whatnot. But if you're not getting a crowd response, then I just don't see why you're put in a situation like that. It should only be for people who really get the crowd going. I don't know. Just don't throw a freaking match together just to be like, oh, yeah. Men have, 3 or 4 matches. The women should have 3 or 4 matches. It's just stupid. Anyway, the match was okay. Lita, again, she just looked a little rusty. Trish was great. Everything that she did, I thought she looked pretty good. I don't know. Cornette kind of said it best. He was like, the ladies are so small. They do these moves and they just don't look brutal. When they hit the freaking ropes, the ropes barely move. There's just a lot of things like when you're watching the match, it just doesn't look as good. I don't know. They're not as stiff in the ring. If you watch like a Jamie Hayter match or even Rhea Ripley, some of the other girls, like the bigger girls, like when they hit you, it looks pretty freaking stiff. They hit really hard and it looks good. A lot of the smaller girls like Becky Lynch and stuff, it just doesn't look as good. I mean, don't get me wrong, suplexes, German suplexes, like all those different things, not too bad. But when they go to do like a punch or, things like that, or the kicks and stuff, it just looks so soft. I don't really care for it. I don't know, guys. Not a huge fan of this. I figured this is kind of what we were going to get. Kind of knew who was going to win the match, too. So, highlight Trish Stratus. Come on. Let's move on.